Arvin, what are your thoughts on this book? Tell the world.
In terms of storylines, like going into the World Cup, who are some of the dark horses? What are some big teams that might fall off a little bit?
I was wondering.
Better than Brazil, but Brazil historically better. I feel like on paper, Brazil has a better team as well, player for player. The LeBron James of soccer, though, that's Christian Pulisic. I feel like the frustration of them always falling short of a specific milestone, whether it be making out the group stages of a World Cup or not winning the Asian Cup. Just frustration. I really want to see them win. They're not going to win. That's 0% chance, but it's
0% for Iran.
Oh yeah.
From the most patriotic fans, 0%.
Well, you gotta be realistic. 0% chance for Canada as well.
Oh darn! Don't tell me that. All right, let's go through.
1% chance for Romania.
Yeah, 1%.
No. In terms of storylines, like going into the World Cup, who are some of the dark horses? What are some big teams that might fall off a little bit?
I was wondering. So I have to ask you as a soccer fan: Messi or Ronaldo? No, I can't confirm nor deny that.
No, I wish.
But in this podcast episode, I had the privilege of having Arvin Heydarian on. We talked on a wide range of interesting topics, stemming from books where we talked about Atomic Habits by James Clear. We talked about How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And we also spoke about Bill Gates in his book. Then we spoke on the pressing topic in today's world, which is FIFA World Cup, which is going to be coming in 2026. And we're going to get all the hot takes and all the lore from an avid soccer fan. And at the very end, we're going to get his philosophical take for you. Welcome back to the Botea podcast, everybody. Today I got my good friend on, Arvin. How do I say your last name again?
Heydarian.
Arvin Heydarian on.
Good to be here. Good
to be here. Today we're going to be talking about some books that have been in his mind recently. Then we're going to talk about the exciting upcoming FIFA World Cup from a very avid soccer fan. And then we'll also be taking in to see what Arvin thinks is the meaning of life and how people can strive towards that. So,
big questions to be answered.
Yeah, so we'll start off. You have a lot of books here, so which one do you want to start off with that you're going
to... I guess we'll go in the order that I read them. So first one that I read was Atomic Habits. This was, I want to say 7-8-ish months ago. Say. And yeah, I guess, how does it work? Key takeaways, what I saw of the book in general?
Yeah, what is one message to the world that you could summarize to this book? I understand it's a book, so you can't really summarize it. That's why the author put the work into creating a full book for it.
Yeah.
So more so like a pitch for people who would like to read it, I guess.
Okay. I'd say in life, you often hear people say the environment that you live in dictates your behaviors. And this book, essentially, what it does is lets you find a way to make your environment work for you. So it helps you reshape your environment in a way that's beneficial to you, that makes you get the things you want to get done more automatically. So basically, it is Atomic Habits. So it's automatic is what it is, really. So just making your environment work towards you and not against you.
So essentially making your environment work towards you, and that all stems by simply changing your habits.
True. Yeah. So like cleaner room, leads to you maybe getting things done more easily. So if you keep that habit of maybe making your bed every day in the morning.
Have you tested like that, like the hypothesis there?
Some of the stuff, yeah, some of it's much easier to apply to, like making your bed, I'd say, because it doesn't take that long. I think with the smaller things in life, it's a lot easier to apply this to. I think with the bigger things, though, that requires some mental fortitude as well. But definitely, if you're looking for a quick change in your life and you even struggle to do maybe the small things a lot, I feel like this book is perfect just as a stepping stone towards other books as well.
Yeah, so as a stepping stone towards building those habits in your life, what if, like, for example, me, growing up, like I was always taught to make my bed. So for me, making my bed the next morning isn't really dramatic change. So for people who do have making their bed, what is like the next level of like the atomic habit they should go for to set their day right?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think it's different for everyone. So I feel like everyone has their own bar or ceiling of how atomic or how many habits they do have, and they're able to keep up with consistently. I feel like this book is a stepping stone in order to achieve still the smaller habits compared to what you're already doing. So if you're already making your bed, but let's say you're struggling to go out and go on the run every day.
Okay.
For you, that's still a little bit more easier than someone who still struggles to make their bed. So I feel like with that, it helps. But then let's say the next step above running every day or exercising would be maybe writing a book that you've been wanting to write. Some big project, some big undertaking. There we go. Yeah, I made a reference to
So
you
you're
as well.
saying basically cater it towards your like the discipline that you want to pursue.
Yeah.
So if you're already making your bed and you want to get more into fitness, do a small thing like running or even walking for a certain amount of time a day.
Yeah, true. And I think I can talk about one of the specific methods that the book uses. It's like, let's say you like to have ice cream, for example, and
I hate ice cream.
you hate ice cream. All right, sweets, treats.
I hate sweets.
Screen time on your phone.
I hate screen time on my phone.
Well, you're doing better than the rest of us, I'd say. Some of us are still tempted, but let's say you are tempted and you do those things, and you also want to run, but you don't run. So and then you feel guilty.
Mhm.
One of the ways this book manages to get us to do the things that we want to do is, let's say you have your gym, and then right beside it there's a Tim Hortons or whatever. There's a coffee shop, and you like donuts.
Mhm.
Well, you set this rule for yourself. I go to the gym first, and then after I'm done, I can go, have my little treat.
Mhm.
And that's a way of just building that consistency. Is the reward afterwards.
Yeah, I did want to add on other points. I can't really get it at the top of my head now, and I won't add this out because one of the main points of like the podcast is to show like the unfiltered discussions within all the hyper edited videos of today. But
if you want, we can always move on to the next one. You can.
No, I feel like when you're on the verge of a thought,
Yeah,
and just like so like delightful. It's kind of like euphoric when like you're on the verge of the next thought.
yeah. Tip of your tongue.
What was it?
We can retrace our steps.
Yeah, let's retrace our steps.
Yeah, we were basically you were talking about the book as well, like how you were writing and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know if that was something you want to extrapolate on.
I think it was something more recent. So it was catering. Oh, okay. This is a banger. If you waited for me to come to this thought, you're a real one. You should sub right now. But basically, what really is the difference between this? I'm not sure if these are self-help books, but we'll get into that if you watch the end. But what's the difference between this and the popular Nike slogan of "Just Do It"? Because me personally, as a writer, I keep trying to find all of these big life-changing lessons to extrapolate and see like how I could potentially help a reader. But at the end of the day, if you take away all of the fluff and all of the yap out of it, you're essentially just saying, just do it. So what differentiates this from that just do it method? Because this is a best-selling book, so there must be some sort of mass appeal to it. So what differentiates it from the message of just do it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I feel like this book, unlike other books where they more appeal to the psychology of the person, so your emotions and trying to motivate you in some way, I feel like this book takes a more scientific approach towards its methods. So there's actually some science that goes behind what the author talks about.
Okay.
Now I know you've talked about this book before in your podcast, like Can't Hurt Me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's biography of David Goggins. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he more talks about his inner struggles. He doesn't really get into the scientific aspect of what it is and what it takes to do the things that he's done. He more so talks about the emotions that go into it and the self-reflection. This book is more scientific, as in it talks about dopamine and basically triggers as well. So let's say you have a bad habit, which one of the good things about this book is if you have bad habits and you want to get rid of them, it also dives into that a lot as well. So basically tells you find the triggers for your bad habits. And those, again, are dictated by your environment. So a lot of times changing your environment and avoiding those triggers can help you avoid those bad habits and start new ones.
So that's profound. So the difference for this book is that there's science behind it, and the difference for the Can't Hurt Me, which I discussed in episode 4, is that's about the more emotional side, whereas this is the dopamine, all the triggers, all the environment.
Yeah.
So for the triggers, I know I have asked, like, if you applied it, but have you realized any triggers that set you off in a negative way that you could, like, still improve on? What would you think, if you don't want to answer that personal question, what would you say so the triggers that our generation should focus on improving and not falling to?
That's a really good question. And I'd say maybe one trigger is, you come back to your room, had a long day, you need to study, but then you have your phone in your hand and a comfy bed, and that's the trigger right there. It's just calling for you. The bed's just saying plop down. Just, put
that's actually an important message from actually one of the Moss classes we took together, the Study Less, Study Smart video by Martin Scobell, I believe it was.
Yeah, I believe that
he mentioned how the importance of giving rules to particular objects and functions to objects in your room.
Yeah.
So, for example, the bed, each time you use the bed, you should only be using it to sleep. You shouldn't read in it.
True.
You shouldn't do work in it. You shouldn't, you should keep it for sleep. And likewise for desks. Or, for example, even what we're doing here with this setup, like doing something in a specific environment, you could say this is, trains your brains. Each time you see environment, it becomes easier to do that. So that could be the reason one of the triggers is like so.
Yeah,
I would say is because of the bed and of the phone, but you've built the combination of them together, and you should separate it. Would you agree?
Yeah, true. And like what I talked about before about donut shop and gym, put those two together, and
put what together?
Like the donut shop or whatever. Like if you have a guilty pleasure, put that with something you actually want to get done.
Oh, as a reward.
Yeah, as a reward. So if you have bed and phone, try to.
Actually, that just happened before this. We had to both finish our homework. So
very true.
Yeah, let's get to the next. This is also a self-help book, I believe, right?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
And more about networking and stuff.
More about networking?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
After we go this one, I do have a revolutionary breakthrough idea to reveal also after we speak about this one. So this is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So, Arvin, what are your thoughts on this book?
Yeah, just to summarize this main points is just basically how to make yourself a more likable character, how to make other people like you more. And I think that might sound a bit weird, about trying to appeal to other people more. But
why would that be? Like, let's delve into that. Why would that make you weird?
Oh, some people, when they read this book, they think that they can't be themselves. I think is like a notion they have before. They're like, oh, I have to fake it. I have to, fake being the person I am. But it's really not about that. It's just about caring about the other people around you and the people you're getting to meet, really showing them that level of respect. So one of the things, these are small things, you guys probably may have heard about them, but this book dives into and explains really why these little things are so important. Like, for example, when you meet the person, remembering their name instantly, when you meet the person, smiling. First impressions are everything after all. following up with people, and it delves into like more the minute things, but it explains the importance of them, the greater importance of them.
And it also said that one way to influence people to be more favorable towards you is to say their name in conversation. Isn't that right, Arvin?
Yeah, very nice. Good point.
See what I did there? That was referring upon itself.
Mm.
So we've learned the lessons here. Have you applied any of these to your life, and have you seen success using the lessons you've learned from this book?
Yeah, especially this was a book I really wanted to read before coming to university. Especially as a business major, I think we can both relate to how much networking and meeting people goes into
all the clubs and everything.
It is a lot to handle and try to manage. So
handling LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is its own world of itself. Yes, so I feel like this book kind of gives you a playbook, essentially, or it gives you guides on how to manage that. And because a lot of people come to university not knowing what networking really is, what it's all about, how to create strong relationships that can help you in the future, building those bonds. Especially here, taking initiative is really important as well. So knowing how to be a good leader is essential, especially for us business students, but I guess for any walk of life as well. So this book is really good for that.
And what does it say about how to maintain relationships?
Yeah, again, it's about just keeping in touch and reaching out to people meaningfully. It's not about just sending them a Happy New Year's text every once a year. It's really about following up, remembering details about them. Oh, I remember your kid, was just going to that new school or new program. How are they doing? Remembering those personal details, adds that personal touch, essentially, that separates you from probably many of the other people that person may know.
And a small habit that you can use to work towards that separating factor is to incorporate listening first, because after you listen, then you'll have stuff to call back and reference on later, just like how you also mentioned this is the book that you're currently reading, correct?
Yeah, we can replace some.
Yeah, so now this is Bill Gates' source code. So tell the world, what's this about?
Yeah, so I haven't read this book fully through yet, but it's just the...
Oh, I don't think I need it.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's fine.
That's got... See, the book here has aura. It doesn't need the water bottle to stand up.
Very true, very true.
True story.
So this book just is about the upbringing of Bill Gates, essentially. So just their life story, which is interesting. I feel like a lot of times we hear about successful people, they come from really troubled backgrounds. Financially, their families weren't well off, or they went through a lot of problems as a kid. But Bill Gates, if you're an ordinary person with an ordinary upbringing who really didn't suffer that much, is looking for success and that motivation, like Bill Gates' family was well off, really well off. Really, his father was a lawyer, really big time lawyer, where they were living. So it's basically about, you hear about all those stories of people who had to suffer to be successful. This is just a person whose family was successful. He was probably set up for life as it was, didn't really have to do much, but really had that personal motivation to not be somebody's son, but to become, their own man. So
could you argue, in a sense, and I hope this isn't controversial, but could you argue that it could possibly be more difficult for people to be raised in fortunate households to skyrocket beyond that? Because opposed to, say, someone like David Goggins, the only option is to break out of that. Meanwhile, if you start off middle class, there's no harm in being middle class.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have put some thought towards this, but at the end of the day, I feel like the stories of the athletes and the people like David Goggins that we hear about are the ones that we do want to hear about, because there's trials and tribulations involved in them.
It's more entertaining.
It's more entertaining. Yeah, we don't hear about these stories as much, even though there's more of these stories than the other stories we hear about, essentially. But we like those stories more. And I feel like with Bill Gates' story, the reason it's heard so much is because when you at a certain point in time when he was the richest person in the world, it's hard to ignore the richest person in the world story. So
yeah, so it's interesting when you go about your own devices to actually read, you see that all these success stories, it doesn't have to come from turbulent past and rooted in all these terrible things that would arguably create like a better story, a better plot.
Yeah.
So how, because this at the end of the day is a story, so how is it entertaining if it was more streamlined for him?
Well, at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like this was at the dawn of new technology. So it's kind of like it's a history lesson in and of itself. As he's growing up, technology is also, coming into a new era of itself. Computers, personal computers, as well as coding.
Are you referring to laptops when you mean personal computers?
No, actually, like personal, like computers, as in
like androids.
No, we're talking about like back in the day, you'd have to have like these big, computers.
Oh yeah, where the computer is the screen. Is that what you're talking about?
Pretty much, yeah. So this is becoming it more like anyone in their household can have one now. Well, not essentially, because they didn't. As far as I've read so far throughout the story, they didn't have a computer in their household. His private school that he attended.
Oh wow!
Had a computer room that he was a member of the club. So otherwise, he probably wouldn't have even, because they didn't have one at home. So they probably wouldn't have even known about computers. So again, him being well off led to him being in that private school, which led to him having, early access to these sorts of technologies.
And more access to opportunities, because as you mentioned, if it wasn't for that computer class, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's about taking, especially for those people who are watching who are university as well, it's really important to take the opportunities that are afforded to you. We're both extremely grateful to obviously be here and have the opportunity to attend here on university. So it's really important to take all those opportunities that are afforded to you in order to be the most successful. And I feel like that's basically what this story is trying to tell me, but I haven't been through the entirety of it, so we'll see.
Yeah, what's fascinating to me is he created Microsoft, right? Was that was first operating system, correct?
No, not exactly. One of the most famous ones, but the interesting story behind that, he bought Windows.
He bought Windows.
He bought Windows.
Okay.
From a person for really cheap as well. He bought Windows, but he was able to
So that's similar to Elon Musk, right? Because Elon Musk also bought Tesla, but then they developed it after.
Yeah, true. He was a better businessman. People think he was the one coding and everything as such. He didn't know how to code.
Really?
Yes.
Bill Gates?
Yeah, he didn't know how to code, but he wasn't doing the coding. He was a better businessman than anything. When we look back now, the best deal that they made was with IBM, I believe.
Yeah, IBM.
Yeah, it's called the deal of the century. Basically, when they made the deal, I think it was for Windows to be on IBM computers. They made the deal where it wasn't exclusively for IBM. So when IBM's products took off with Windows as its operating system, Microsoft was still able to sell to other companies as well. So deal of the century, that's what really made Microsoft successful.
Yeah, they kept all their eggs in more than one basket. As cliche as it sounds, that it works because it works for all ages. And and IBM now also owns Lenovo and others, I believe. What really fascinates me about this is people who innovate later on down in the line in the future. We take our computers for granted. We take our phones, AI for granted. Meanwhile, before it existed, there's someone who envisioned that future to be a possibility. It's interesting how that's, for example, us saying we're going to make a flying car is referred to as a electric takeoff and landing vehicle. But that's like us saying today we're going to make one of those, even though it doesn't exist, but then it eventually exists. It's such a interesting concept to me, because I also think Ken Liu mentioned this, is one of the beauties of the human mind is we can comprehend what doesn't exist yet.
but will exist
Or
potentially.
will exist. Yeah, forgive me. That wasn't really a question. I was just
No.
just a
I
yap
love
of
going
thought.
out on these tangents.
Yeah.
They're interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess they never envisioned what the world today would look like. I think we take a lot of the things we have for granted, you know. And who knows? Yeah, flying cars one day.
Yeah, and
maybe.
also one of the famous authors, Jules Verne, wrote about submarines. I believe it was 2,000 years before they were invented.
Submarines.
Yeah, submarines.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he wrote 8 days around the world, journey to the center of the earth, 20,000 leagues under the sea. Most of them have adapted to. You've probably seen Journey to the Center of the Earth with Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and I forget what his name is, but he's a great actor.
The movie does ring some bells, but
Yeah.
can't really. Probably haven't watched it though. Probably seen the trailer. All right.
Yeah, so that is the books, everyone. So out of these three, what would you recommend? Yeah, what would you recommend for the readers to read right now if they could choose one of these? Which ones would you recommend?
Well, it depends on what point in your life you are. I feel like, you know, if you're just going into university and you want to, you know, build strong relationships because it's a new beginning for you. If you're in high school, you already have your friends, your family around you. If you're going to university, it's a great opportunity to meet new people. So I feel like this book is essential. But then again, if you're already in university or you're already in high school and you want to work on your habits, definitely Atomic Habits would be my pick. And then for this one, honestly, in any whatever walk of life you are, whatever age you are, it's a good read, you know.
So when you are interested, how do you come across? Do you say, for example, I want to learn how to change my habits, and this came up, and you literally, it's actually a really SEO friendly title. So do you explicitly search the type of book you want and then get it, or how do you come across these books?
Let's see, I accidentally hit the mic.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Apologies if that, you know, I don't know, when you hit the mic sometimes it's like a big bang.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Maybe I did nothing. I don't know.
Oh, no, we'll have to see later on. But yeah, I feel like these books are really popular. Anyone who's watching this has probably heard of these books as some.
So that's how you found out about it?
Yeah, I feel like there's some popular books, and everyone should probably read through those popular books before they get into really like niche books. So like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Atomic Habits, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, Psychology of Money. What else? 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, and one I hope to. I spoke about this in my 2025 TBR videos, but specifically for self-help books, one of that I'm really interested in reading, other than Can't Hurt Me, and also 12 Rules for Life. All those are like life basis.
Yeah,
I also wanted to focus on money. So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I have a nice edition that I haven't cracked open. But you also have 12 Rules for Life on your TBR.
Yeah, I'd like to read it, but
I remember seeing in like comments, like if you just scroll through some of the comments on like the book trailer from how many years ago, there's like countless of people saying how it changed their life.
I don't know, if a book changed your life, would you go and comment on a post about how it changed your life? It's so weird to me when I see people do that. I feel like I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. Obviously, I tell the people around me, like my friends and family, about it. But to go back on the video and comment, this book changed my life. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. So your life was profoundly changed. So saying you wouldn't go back and comment?
Probably not. No. I tell the people, like my friends, family, yo, this book is amazing. You should give it a read. But
you wouldn't do it on like some random comment section. I mean, I don't know. I think,
but then again,
I like to disagree with that actually, because I think, in a sense, you're paying it forward to a larger amount of people.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because if it changed your life, tell your family and friends.
Yeah.
But why not also, help out the author as well?
True. Well, I guess.
Or is it because you're saying, because it's rooted in a more personal? Is that why you'd be more unwary to comment that like this changed my life because it's more personal, like private?
Maybe, but no, I'd say it's more so. How do I put this? I feel like if I already go in the video and I see a lot of people talking about how this book changed their lives, there's really no point. And me also commenting is also when people
because it's a lot of people are doing it,
and when they talk about like how climate change, for example, like if I start recycling, how much of an impact does this really have? I feel like it goes back to the same thing. If I leave a comment, my specific comment, how much of an impact does my specific comment have? But then again, it's the collective of everyone wanting to comment on it that makes it powerful. So
another reason would be
just saturated. So many people.
But then again, you also said it's the collective that gives it power too.
So the collective already exists.
Yeah.
But I guess if every person saw like me, then that would be a problem.
I am interested though, if you guys know any self-help books or books in general that profoundly changed your life,
they should comment it down below.
Let us comment down below. But now, if you guys have reached this far, you guys are actually legends.
It's getting interesting now.
Because now we're going to get to the interesting part. What he failed to mention is he's a D1 soccer player. I can't confirm nor deny that.
No, I wish.
But basically, we have a truly patriotic, truly passionate soccer fan, and you play intramurals here at Western
all the time.
And so everyone wants to know, FIFA World Cup is happening soon. It's happening here in Canada and America.
In Mexico.
This is so interesting. Is this the first time coming to Canada?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not even qualified to ask about this, but basically, what should we know about the FIFA World Cup that's coming in 2026, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can always have your storylines. Actually, just 3 days ago, you guys have probably seen this in a couple of weeks. Hopefully by then, Iran, which Iranian, so I support the Iran national team. Hopefully they've qualified by then.
How are they doing now?
They're good. They're 1 point away. So if they draw their next game on Tuesday against Uzbekistan or they win, they're qualified. They'll be the second nation qualified for the World Cup. Japan were the first country, so very interesting. And then also Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. are already qualified because they're hosting the tournament. But so storylines: Japan, first country to qualify. They're doing really well. Brazil is struggling a little bit in qualification, although they had a really good game against Colombia recently, so that was really interesting to watch. In terms of storylines, like going into the World Cup, who are some of the dark horses? What are some big teams that might fall off a little bit?
I was wondering, pardon to interrupt, but before you get into that, because you mentioned Colombia losing, I think everyone knows Spain and all these affiliated Southern American football teams are cracked, right? Which one? Let's just isolate South America. What's the best South American team?
Oof. Brazilian and Argentinian people are right now on the edge of their seats wanting to know this question. Current form, you could say, in terms of qualification, Argentina are doing way better than Brazil.
So stats-wise, Argentina is better than Brazil.
Current form, yes. Historically, Brazil is better in World Cups. They have won the most World Cups of every country. So,
and what do you guys think of Brazil or Argentina? But what about
Colombia?
What would you say to Brazil fans who witnessed the 7-1 game from Germany all those years ago?
What would I say to them? I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. It was entertaining for me to watch as a neutral. Although I did like Neymar a lot back then, but Neymar wasn't playing. Unfortunately.
Hey, Germany never beat Argentina 7-1, did they?
No, 1-0. They beat Argentina 1-0 in that World Cup final.
Mm-hmm. So stats-wise, you have
current form, Argentina better than Brazil, but Brazil historically better. I feel like on paper, Brazil has a better team as well, player for player.
Mm-hmm. And what about? North America has not too many options, so it's probably Mexico. Would you say has the highest chance
of doing well? I don't know. The U.S. has a good team as well on paper. I
Do you have
guess-
any good club players? Forgive me, I don't really watch professional soccer.
They have one guy, they call him Captain America or the LeBron of soccer, which is kind which is a real
LeBron
big stretch.
James.
Yeah, the LeBron James of soccer though. That's Christian Pulisic.
That's a serious title to give someone.
Yeah, because he's American though. He's definitely. Some people say he's world class. I would not say Christian Pulisic is world class.
Christian Pulisic is not world class.
He is not world class. Hot take. There's just so many better players. I feel like at a certain time maybe he was not currently like for.
Is he getting older now?
He is. I mean, he's still fine. He's. I guess you could say. I don't even know how
slowly
old
falling
he is.
off.
No, he's doing well right now in AC Milan. But
so what's wrong with him?
He's just not that. There's levels to this game, and he's not at that level. You think about it like this: you have players, right? You sub them in.
Mm-hmm.
If you sub this player in, can he change a game? You're losing. Can he change it? Does he have that that class to come in and make that big impact?
Isn't that such like a high bar to set for someone though?
A lot of players can do that though. You think about. I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to compare him to Ronaldo or Messi, but even go down lower, you have Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, all these players, or go to other teams. Let's say even Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, all these players. If they're not playing on the pitch and you sub them in, all of these players have the ability to make the difference. I just don't think Pulisic can consistently do that. I'm not saying he hasn't had his moments. As an Iranian fan, I do remember when he scored against us. He knocked us out of the World Cup.
Pulisic did?
Yes.
Oh, so is that why there's some beef?
No. Respect where respect is due. I'm telling you, he knocked us out. He did well, but I'm just saying, they lost to Panama.
So America knocked you out then?
Yes, essentially.
Are we gonna get a repeat of that this year?
I hope so. The Iran team isn't doing that well.
Oh yeah,
days. Yeah. Our team's getting older. In the calendar year of 2024, we had the second oldest team in the world.
Wow.
So our players are really aging.
Where's your talent going?
Where's our talent? They're not getting minutes. There's the talent's there. There's just the coach.
Just a coaching issue.
Yeah, the coach just prefers older players.
So what would you say, like on the contrary of that? Which team coming to the World Cup or qualifying, because we don't know the list of full teams?
Yeah.
Although we could obviously say there's going to be some South American, European. What team has the best rising talent? Like, who is the? This is possibly, like, maybe too profound, but could we see the birth of a new star? Could we see, like, the start of a new generation other than Ronaldo and Messi appear? Like, start their widely known career in the limelight at this cup?
Yeah, I feel like in terms of Messi and Ronaldo, we'll never see players like them.
Never.
Yeah, never. They're just that good.
You would say, like, the Mbappe and, like, Holland era wouldn't count as...
No, never. It will never get that good. Messi, Ronaldo were at a different level. We'll never see players like them again. But in terms of national teams and talent, if this team, I don't know if they will qualify, but if they do qualify, I think they'll put on a good show for everyone. I think Turkey has
Turkey's got the best rising talent.
They have a lot, not the best. I mean, you always have countries like Brazil. Brazil's always going to have
all the time. Yeah, because it's just in the blood.
Yeah, Brazil is always going to have good talent. You say Germany is always going to have decent talent. Spain, oh my days!
They got Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, Lamine.
I was in Spain when they won. That was a crazy.
Oh, you
experience.
were?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was just I was in like a smaller city, literally an hour away. Well, you could see the skyscrapers, so it's more like an hour drive away from the main city.
Yeah.
But the second they won, I could hear like screaming, fireworks. It was crazy from an hour away. So imagine this is unrelated, but didn't you say? Oh, no, never mind.
I don't think I.
No. Forget. I don't know where I was going there, but.
Oh, crazy! You were in Spain.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. It reminds me of I'm from Niagara Falls originally, so when there's a lot of Italians who live in Niagara Falls, when Italy won the Euros, it was the same thing. You just heard people honking and lots of Italian flags that day. It's crazy. So, but to be in Spain, in the country of Spain when they won the Euros, that must be
what's it gonna be like
level
when we're in Canada and Canada wins the World Cup? Would you be happier if Canada wins or if Iran wins? What would make you happier?
See, that's a good question. And I feel like, let's say back in the day when I did have ambitions of becoming a professional, like soccer player, footballer, you always ask yourself these questions, like, what country am I going to represent if I ever do reach that level? And I remember this one player, he actually chose Australia over Iran.
Oh, wow.
And his reasons were completely valid. And I liked how he said, because when he was like 4 or 5, he moved to Australia, right? So he says, the first memories I have of actually playing the sport and falling in love with it were in Australia. Therefore, I owe it to Australia and the country to play for them. And I feel like on the opposite side for me, I lived in Iran until grade 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I was born here. I lived here until grade 1, and then 1 through 7, I lived in Iran. So
do you remember like up to grade 1?
I do, but I never played soccer.
Okay.
Yeah, no memory of sports. I probably wouldn't have even played soccer if I lived here. I probably would have picked up something like basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball's always been.
I feel like you could go crazy at basketball. We should hoop with Gui sometime.
Oh yeah, we should. Yeah, one of our friends is a big basketball fan. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like my first memories of playing the sport and falling in love with it are in Iran. So therefore, I feel like I would have chose Iran. So to answer your question, I'd probably be more happier. Also, through those grades 1 through 7, I saw the Iran team play a lot more because I was living in the country and the frustration of.
Oh, you saw the Iran team live?
Well, no, on the TV with your friends and family. You're living there. A lot of people wearing the jerseys and such. I feel like the frustration of them always falling short of a specific milestone, whether it be making out the group stages of a World Cup or not winning the Asian Cup. Just frustration. I really want to see them win. They're not going to win. That's 0% chance, but it's
0% for Iran.
Oh yeah,
from the most patriotic fans, 0%.
Well, you gotta be realistic. 0% chance for Canada as well.
Oh darn! Don't tell me that. All right, let's go through.
1% chance for Romania.
Yeah, 1%.
No.
Really? What about? Because Romania was really undervalued in Euros. Like no one expected them to perform. They forgot about Romania's past. They forgot about Hagi. I think I wouldn't give Romania 0.
I mean, there's always a chance. And the beautiful thing about soccer is there's always a chance. There's always a chance, but it's so slim. Everything you have to have some luck. Everything has to go perfectly for you. Injuries. Think about it. Some teams they have a really good starting lineup, but if one player gets injured, it's really hard to replace that player.
Oh, do you see that Netherlands game with Romania? I'm not sure if you saw it, but I'm not sure if this is controversial, but I have noticed Netherlands is a very aggressive playing style. Hagi's nephew, I believe it was, if you saw, he had to wear that weird hat because he got elbowed accidentally. But
Netherlands usually press a lot, so yeah, I guess they do have an aggressive playing style. They're center.
Would you say they're one of the guaranteed teams to make it to qualify?
Netherlands, they were at the last World Cup, but they weren't in the 2018 World Cup. But seeing as qualification has expanded and a lot more teams are going to be there, I'd say it is almost a certainty.
Wait, well, you never know. What was that one? Was it that Italy didn't qualify for the last Euro?
For the last 2 World Cups, they haven't qualified.
Last 2 World, wow.
Yeah, and they were winners.
And there was Euro winners.
Yeah, Euro winners and not qualifying. So that's. Told you anything can happen, and that's actually what I was going to say as well. Some of the teams going into World Cup, like Argentina, I don't think they're going to do that well this time around.
Well, that's the beauty of soccer too, right? You don't perfectly know, so it makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, think about it like this. My confidence in Iran is really small at the moment going into the World Cup, but you know what? This could be the year we exceed all expectations in the time that I least expected. So
hey. Dacă ești român și noi putem să facem bine. I'd do a little Romanian plug.
Oh, what was that? What was that?
If we were Romanian, maybe we could do well too this year. I don't know. You said 0 Canada, 0 Iran, 0 Romania.
Yeah. 100%.
If we're going off that, like aside from like our biases and emotions, what would you say most likely to win? Like you? And I'm not sure if you're following the news or the prospects, and what is like the general media saying about most likely?
Spain. People are saying Spain are the most likely winners. France are always going to be. Spain are always going to Spain, and then France are always going to be up there. I think France get to the top 4. I don't know if they make another final, but definitely France.
They got Mbappe though, right?
They do, yeah. So that's
why chilling.
Top 4, yeah. But you never know. Also, England with their new manager, their new coach.
Is he good?
He's good, yeah. He brings the right mentality. He's German, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he brings the right mentality to the team. I feel like Thomas Tuchel. So I think England are actually going to do better than we expect. Yeah, there we go.
Wait, you say England better than Germany?
Germany's also up there, but I don't think Germany's going to...
Wait, you said England better than Germany?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I said that they have a German coach now. England have a German coach.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know which one's better, Germany or...
What's that chant with where like England's like, we'll take it home? Is that only for Euro or is that also for the World Cup? Like,
it's coming. Like, they say it's coming home. Yeah, that's for everything, I think.
Everything? All right, what do you have to say to the England fans who think it's coming home?
You know what? Southgate's gone. You guys have a chance. It might be coming home, but you guys have to get through a very good Spain, a very good France, very good Germany, I'd have to say as well, and very good just South American teams. It's tough. It is tough, but you know.
Is that who they have in their qualifying bracket?
No, they're just like when they get to the World Cup.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was unfortunate. I'm pretty sure last one, they put all the heavy hitters on the same side of the bracket. Or I could just be speculating. I don't entirely remember.
When it's the World Cup, heavy hitters doesn't mean anything. Every country who's there is pretty good, especially when you get to the last 8-ish.
You could recognize the heavy hitters though. Like you see, like Germany, France, like that shouldn't be a match happening in the first beginning.
Knockout. Yeah, I guess so. I feel like Argentina had a decently easy run to the final. They had Australia first, and then the Netherlands really gave them a run for their money. And then who was it afterwards? Was it Croatia, I believe, that they had, and then onto the finals against France. But I guess Argentina had somewhat easier path. Then you could say France had to go through
for what path? Like for what tournament?
World Cup, last World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's when you get to the final, you know.
So what would you say? What's the final gonna be? What's the final? And
I can say top 4.
Yeah, say top 4. Why 4 over 5? Is that a soccer thing?
Yeah, 4 because like 2 teams and then 2 teams playing, then one from those 2 makes the final. So top 4.
Okay, so top 4. Let's look at that. Romania.
Oh yeah, their 4th team's gonna make it as well.
Canada.
No, it's gonna be France, definitely top 4. Spain for sure. England, I'd say if I had to guess, and then one more. I don't think Brazil has the mentality, man. I'm sorry to everyone there, but watching.
Why is the mentality not there now, as opposed to other years?
You look at it just. Well, you look at the other teams and the mentality that they have, and then the Brazilian players individually. I feel
like too nonchalant about it. Like they don't. Really care?
I feel like they're just. You need at least a couple of the players on the team to be the backbone of the team and to really push those younger players. I feel like they don't really have that push. Because think about one of the most influential figures on the team is Neymar.
Mm-hmm.
And Neymar is a really amazing player, don't get me wrong. But as a role model to follow, probably not so much.
And they don't really got like that hype, mentality. We're in this to win. Listening to "Lose Yourself" by Eminem, walking out. Like they're probably not taking it as intense as the other teams. Would you say?
Probably. Sometimes maybe they underestimate their opponents for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see. World Cup is always full of surprises. You had Morocco reaching the top 4 last time. My dark horse pick would have to be Turkey this time.
Wait, before. So you said top 4 was somewhere in some order: Spain, Germany.
No, it's not Germany. I didn't say Germany.
You
Although
didn't say?
no, I said
Oh,
Spain.
Spain, France,
England.
England.
Spain, France. I didn't come up with the last one because that's like the tough one.
What do you think that could be? There could be a potential for a dark horse to reach top 4.
Yeah, some country might be able to do what Morocco did in the last World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, I still remember those edits. I forgot what it was, but it was some Moroccan girl saying something, and then it's an Mbappe edit.
It was a Ronaldo one. Ronaldo's
edit.
crying in his car. That's what the girl was saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm a Ronaldo fan, so that did hurt a little bit.
Oh, I had a basketball fan on, so I had to ask him Michael versus LeBron. So I have to ask you as a soccer fan, Messi or Ronaldo, or you could pick someone from history if you think greatest of all time.
I just say both. They're just. I told you, no one will ever reach their levels. Either of them. No one will ever get close to what either of those two players achieved.
What about Maradona?
No, never.
What would you say to Nyan watching this? Would he agree to that take?
I don't know. He's probably a Messi fan, so he'd probably say Messi is like clear Ronaldo. But you can't say that. Also, what Ronaldo I really respect.
Why can't you say that?
I told you these players just so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're at a whole different level in and of themselves. No player.
So what do you say? Like a scattered graph, right?
Okay.
It's like all the population is here. How much higher? How? I don't know what the metric is, but say this is the skill level.
Yeah, the average players.
Where is Messi and Ronaldo?
Average players here. Really bad players down there. These are some really good players. Messi, Ronaldo. There's think about from here to here is the gap. There's a big gap between them.
Okay, so let's say this is the pool of all the national players and people and what are the leagues called again?
Premier League,
and all that. So you'd say basically
there's the
height of it difference is how much better Messi and Ronaldo is.
Yeah, and then they're close to each other. So if you want to flip them, think about winning a trophy, winning the World Cup. People say Messi won the World Cup, so the debate is over, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a full team of players to win a World Cup. It takes a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Messi alone, they put Messi on Iran's national team. He's not winning the World Cup,
Mm-hmm.
So to say just because he did win a World Cup means he's a better player. And also during that campaign, he was good. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but he wasn't phenomenal.
But can you argue against that point because isn't it proven that? I don't say it's proven, but wasn't there a performance with Ronaldo where it's argued Portugal does worse when he is on?
There's actually, people have arguments for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if the team's doing well as a whole, really pointing the blame at Ronaldo isn't necessary. I feel like he's a scapegoat sometimes. Even when he was a good player, we're talking...
He was still a scapegoat back then.
Yeah, 2018 World Cup, I swear to God, before the Spain game where he scored a hat-trick, people were talking about how, he was good, but some people said, oh, he's too selfish, he's this, he's that, even back then. But I guess as he's getting older right now, I think in this next World Cup, I wouldn't expect him to start. I don't think he should start the games. But
he's not starting?
I don't think he should. I think he is right now, but I don't think he should start games. Yeah, as in
he's getting too old?
Yeah, he's getting too old. But
that's sad,
I told you, he's the type of player, if you put him into the game, he can change the game.
Yeah.
So just have him on.
He's got aura.
Also, he's a leader.
Yeah.
I told you when I talk
he's
about...
a captain, right?
Yeah, when I talk about the Brazil team, they lack the mentality. They don't have a player like Ronaldo. They have Neymar.
Mm-hmm.
But Neymar isn't a leader like Ronaldo is a leader. If Ronaldo's on that Portuguese team, he'll make sure the players are focused, that they're locked in.
Or not a achievement-oriented leader.
There you go, some business 1220.
So it's actually interesting because I think you've actually had one of the most unique takes on that because most people try to clearly define a GOAT.
Yeah.
But you just said it plainly, they're basically the same, but above.
Yeah, maybe there's a gap in between them, whichever way.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. They're so good. No one's ever going to get close. To just enjoy both players, man. They've had so many different careers as well. It's so hard to compare because we know they're both phenomenal players. But think about it. Messi just played in Spain his whole life. But
Ankara Messi.
there you go. You know the lines as well. Yeah, but Ronaldo played in so many different leagues. Maybe if he stayed in Spain, he would have had more goals or better statistics.
What are your thoughts on Ronaldo going to the Arab League?
It's good for Iran. Our Iranian teams play against Saudi Arabian teams, so it's
good training.
So yeah, it's good for Iranian teams and Iranian players, so youngsters that face top tier, class players like Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, for the sport, it's probably, I don't know if it's good or bad. It's bad in the short term, but good in the long term because I think the sport's going to grow in those countries over time.
Mm-hmm.
You need those big names for the sport to gain traction in those regions, but yeah, there's pros and cons,
And you said Turkey was your dark horse.
If they do, the thing is, it's crazy. I don't know if they will qualify for the World Cup or not, but if they do, they will be a dark horse. I feel like.
Really? So it's
It's the same thing with Italy. If they qualify for the World Cup, they'll do well. They're Euro winners. They play well, but sometimes they just don't qualify. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes it's just misfortune. Also, the World Cup, it's a whole different type of atmosphere. Teams that play really bad going into the World Cup suddenly play really well.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams that play really good going into the World Cup suddenly play really bad. So,
how many games does everyone have before eliminations start?
Oh, the group stages is 3 games in the World Cup, but then you have World Cup qualification, which can be any number of games depending on the continent that the country.
What was the estimated date in 2026? Do we know?
For the start of the World Cup, I actually have no idea.
Yeah, I was wondering how to get. I think it was Peter that said, if we're in the home country, we actually have priority, right, to getting tickets.
I'm not sure if that's just for Canada's games or if that's for every game, but I don't know. There's somewhere where you can sign up on the FIFA website and they'll keep you up to date.
Do you think there's a chance that there's people who would want to go, but they won't get a spot from the demand?
Oh yeah, of course. There's going to be Canada's games. There's going to be.
Hopefully that's not you for an Iran game.
The problem is there's so many Iranians in Canada these days, and especially in the U.S. as well. So if wherever Iran does end up playing,
would they flood the field?
No, that doesn't happen in World Cups.
But wait, where is it happening in Toronto? Is it happening?
The Toronto field, yeah, one in Toronto, one stadium, yeah. And then
that's crazy.
One other city in Canada as well. I have no idea. They need to renovate their second stadium and the Toronto.
Yeah, stadium. It's a big event, so they'll pump it up for a little.
Yeah, they need more seats.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's so interesting that you see all these soccer games on TV, and it kind of feels like a different reality. But I think that 25% of that is going to happen close to where we live, eat, breathe, and sleep. That's a crazy thought how it just merges into that.
Yeah, I never saw in my lifetime, I'd be this close to a World Cup, but it's finally happening. I finally get to hopefully get to go watch a match.
If you get it in time.
Yeah.
And do you know, how do they release tickets for further on? For example, is it just buy a semifinals ticket and you don't know who's going? Or do they release it closer to the date?
No, you buy it beforehand. But
so you don't know the teams that are playing?
Yeah, you can buy it afterwards as well, but it's more expensive. A lot of my friends were talking, and this is a problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
They say at the start of the World Cup, there's cheap tickets, $200 a piece probably. But then a lot of my friends were talking about, and those people who don't play soccer at all, they were talking about buying the tickets just so they can resell them. It's a big problem. People who don't like the sport just buy them.
It's making it worse for the real fans.
Yeah, it goes from 200 to 3,000, and
3,000.
Yeah, sometimes.
Would you pay 3,000 to watch Iran here?
No, I would not.
No,
I've watched my whole life through a screen. I can watch another World Cup through a screen.
What's your forgot. That's an economic concept. I forgot what it was.
Opportunity cost.
Is that your PPF curve? Or no? Opportunity cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the max? What's the highest amount
that I pay?
Or maybe we shouldn't release this to FIFA because then they just make it 10% less.
Oh yeah, they match my price. I don't know.
Be log in. Oh, my name's Arvin, and then they
I don't know how much these tickets are going to go for, but maybe anything above 700, I'm definitely not doing.
Okay.
400% not doing, and then from 400 to 700 is kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
I'll have to see how emotional I get. How good I think Iran's actually going to play the group we're in.
Mm-hmm.
If we're with some really
good. What group are you in now for the qualifying?
Oh, are the teams in our group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have Uzbekistan, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kyrgyzstan, and what's the last team? North Korea.
North Korea?
North Korea, yeah.
North Korea's
in our group for qualification.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they have a decent team as well.
Were they in any past World Cup?
Yes, they were. 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that's shocking.
Or 2006. I'm not sure. I think it was 2010. Because Iran wasn't in the World Cup that North Korea was in, as far as I remember. We didn't make it.
And you said you just have to beat Uzbekistan, right?
Win or tie. So we just need 1 point, which is going to happen. We are the stadium is in Iran that we're playing. We're undefeated in that stadium for 12 years running.
Hey, so home field advantage. Of
course. So I don't think after 12 years we're going to finally lose a match now.
You never know. Yeah. Hey, in your own words, 0% chance to win
the World Cup. Yeah, there's a chance we lose, but chance is 5% chance we lose, I'd say.
So Iran, Canada, you choose you'd be cheering for Iran?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
But second team I cheer for always would be Canada.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'd be cool for you and for me too, and anyone who lives here but has different background. If our countries are
making sure
on the different sides of the rounds, so that we can maximize the time cheering. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it kicks off Canada-Iran. You just lost some interesting games to cheer on. You know what I mean?
True, and also the thing is, if we're in the same group as Canada, for Iran to do well, Canada has to do bad. Mm-hmm. Not just in the game we play them, but in the rest of their games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even cheer for them at all. You just want every team in the group to do bad and for Iran to do well.
And how would you say? Because we didn't really touch about Canada. How would you say Canada's going to perform? Would you say it's going to be similar to their past? Is there anything
their past new? Their past isn't that good. I don't know. I think
they did good in the last. What was the last one?
They did not do good in the last World Cup. They scored 1 goal.
1 goal? Was that Buchanan?
Alphonso Davies.
Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have a team change, by the way, or is it the same?
Sorry?
Do we have a team change for Canada?
What do you mean team change? New players?
Yeah.
Yeah, new, young, talented, promising players are coming through.
Mm-hmm. We still have Davies, though, and Buchanan.
Yeah, you still got the old core. I mean, Buchanan's 26, if I'm not mistaken. Alfonso's getting up in years, though. But still.
Alfonso's actually a content creator, actually. He has YouTube and Stream Switch.
I've seen some of the clips, but it's imagine pro soccer players being streamers.
What's the gap between Alphonso Davies and who's your star Iranian player?
The star Iranian player. Oh wow. Mehdi Taremi.
Mehdi Taremi. What's the gap between him and Alphonso Davies?
See, if you'd asked me this 1 year ago, I would have said Taremi is miles clear. Or not miles clear. Respect is due. Alphonso Davies is a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard as well. Think about this. If you say Buchanan's an attacking player. Alfonso's a defensive player. I really can't compare Alfonso to Taremi.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It doesn't really make sense.
It's kind of how you said.
If I want to say Buchanan and Taremi, if I compare those two, I'd say Taremi even right now is miles ahead of Buchanan. There's levels to this game. Buchanan's not close at all.
That's Iranian passion right there.
No, but Alfonso's better than any defender we have in the Iran team. I'll say it.
As you can't compare Messi and Ronaldo to the others, you can't easily compare players' skills based on different positions.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. Because think about when we talk about the GOATs, we're talking about two attacking players. Well, what about defenders? Defenders are never, or goalkeepers, they're never in that conversation. It's always
let's have that conversation. Who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT goalkeeper?
Manuel Neuer first, Buffon second.
Manuel Neuer, that's a valid pick right there.
Iker Casillas third. There you go.
Who's the last guy? Quick closing. Oh, that's sad. Hopefully. Okay. Yeah, we're back quickly.
Do you want to ask the big question that we're going to talk about real quick? I can give a short answer to that.
Yeah, so we'll go to that quickly. So I'm not sure what you guys saw. Sadly, my storage ran out. I got to work on that. But that was getting really ting. If you didn't see, we were just talking about the best goalie. Who are the best three goalies you said?
Neuer, Buffon, and Casillas.
Yeah, so sadly we can't really expand too much on that, but I also wanted to ask, but actually we can skip the philosophical question for a later episode because there's a tradition that I ask every guest that comes onto my podcast. We are pressed on time, so this might be difficult, but if you could condense a major life lesson or something you'd like to tell to the world in one word, what would it be?
In one word?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. One word doesn't do anything justice, I feel like, but I'll try and give me a good 10 seconds. I'll think of something.
Yeah, you got 10 seconds, bro. The storage is ticking.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
Mastery.
Yeah. Can you expand on that in the limited time we got?
Yeah, I feel like in life when you choose something that you're passionate about, it's really important that you devote a good amount of time to it to try to be the best that you can at it. So when it comes down to performance, you have no regrets. So mastery. And in any walk of life that you choose to walk, it doesn't matter what it is, just mastery. Yeah.
Amen. Mastery in your life. That's Arvin Heydarian, everyone. Grateful to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. And
let us know what you guys saw of that convo. Hopefully you did.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Are you guys ready for episode number 6 of this podcast? Well, what's the first question you're gonna ask me about? Like,
you'll see, bro. You'll see.
Okay.